Good morning, good morning, good morning. Grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Welcome to the $1 Trillion Tickers broadcast. I'm your host, Matt Riches. This is your pre-market briefing for Friday, February 6th, 2026. Overnight earnings volatility continued to reshape risk sentiment with extreme dispersion between the winners and losers, reminding us that this is a selective market, not a forgiving one. At the same time, we have two red economic reports that come out at 7 a.m. Look out for those. This show is for education and entertainment only. Always do your own research, but you can use this show as a foundation. All right, let's get into the mantra. This is the $1 Trillion Tickers family legacy mantra. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve the wealth that I'm building for me and my family. Riches and freedom, they come to our hands. I am the master of all I command. My learning is limitless. My earnings are too. The more I discover, the more I can do. The stock market is a machine of design, and I have the power to make that wealth mine. I am capable, I am skilled, I am bold. Blessings on the journey as the vision unfolds. All right, next. So at 7 a.m., we have the two red folders. We have the preliminary University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment and the preliminary University of Michigan Inflation Expectations. So that should definitely cause some volatility in the market at 7 a.m. So be aware of that for the day traders. Okay, we did have some earnings after market close yesterday. We had Amazon. Amazon missed barely by 1% on earnings, and they beat barely on revenue, almost by 1%. And as you can see, it fell drastically in the aftermarket, and it's just been consolidating during the pre-market. Iran missed earnings by 374%. And they missed on revenue by 17%. As you can see, it drastically fell in the aftermarket. But it recovered nicely during the pre-market. Next, who had earnings yesterday? MicroStrategy. This might be the worst earnings report, at least the number that I've ever seen. MicroStrategy, they estimated negative 0.08, and it came in at negative 42.93. That is a negative 53,562%. That is incredible. That is incredible miss. I never thought I'd see anything like that. I don't know. It's just, man. Revenue, they actually beat on revenue by 3%. So, yeah, it dropped. It dropped in the aftermarket, but it has regained in the pre-market. Next, Reddit. Reddit beat, a very strong beat by 30% on earnings, and they beat by almost 9% on revenue. So Reddit is up in the pre-market. Roblox beat on the top and bottom, beat on earnings by over 3%, and beat on revenue by almost 7%. It ran up crazy during the announcement, but I guess after the earnings call, it dropped. It dropped drastically, but it's still up from yesterday's close by $6. In the pre-market today, we have Under Armour. Under Armour beat. Wow, look at this, y'all. Under Armour beat earnings by 700%. Wow, and they beat on revenue by 1%. So they thought it was estimated that they would come in negative 0.015, but they reported positively 0.09. So that's how I was able to get that 700%. Okay, next, Toyota Motors. Toyota beat, very strong beat on earnings. They beat by 41%, and they beat revenue by 3.5%. All right, let's check out some of these market caps, y'all. So our $1 trillion tickers, here we go. NVDA, 4.18 trillion. Apple, 4.05 trillion. Google, 4 trillion. Hold on, let me refresh. Yep, okay. Microsoft, 2.92 trillion. Amazon, 2.38 trillion. TSM, 1.71 trillion. Meta, 1.69 trillion. Tesla, 1.49 trillion. AVGO, 1.47 trillion. BRK.B, 1.08 trillion. And Walmart, 1.01 trillion. All right, let's get into Robert Greene's Daily Law for February 6, 2026. Build with standards and patience. Like a builder, develop the highest standards and patience for the step-by-step process. No matter your field, you must think of yourself as a builder. You are working with real materials and real ideas, producing something tangible that affects people in concrete ways. To build anything well, a house, a business, a movement, or a body of work, you must understand the process and possess the necessary skills. This requires a careful apprenticeship. Nothing worthwhile can be created until you have first developed and transformed yourself. In long-term investing application, successful investors build portfolios the way architects build structures, deliberately, patiently, and with margin for error. Compounding only works when the foundation is solid. Risk management, diversification, and discipline. Active trading application. Traders improve by treating their craft as construction, not gambling. Entries, exits, sizings, and review are individual components that must be mastered step by step. Skipping stages leads to collapse. Okay, so the Asian session. Asian markets traded mixed overnight, influenced by earnings fallout and cautious global risk sentiment rather than new policy developments. And then the London session, it opened steady, watching U.S. earnings reactions and preparing for U.S. consumer data later this morning. All right, so let's check out some of the pre-market levels. NVIDIA pre-market low, 172.22. Pre-market high, 177.94. Google pre-market low, 326.29. Pre-market high, 330.94. Apple pre-market low, 273.42. Pre-market high, 276.88. Microsoft pre-market low, 394.36. Pre-market high, 402.45. Amazon pre-market low, 199.25. Pre-market high, 207.92. TSM pre-market low, 328.80. Pre-market high, 338.69. AVGO pre-market low, 312.65. Pre-market high, 323.45. Meta pre-market low, 659.71. Pre-market high, 673.12. Tesla pre-market low 394.25. Pre-market high 406.89. BRK.B pre-market low 508.58. Pre-market high 503.89. And Walmart pre-market low 126.05. Pre-market high 127.68. All right. Let me adjust some of these. So top left-hand corner, we got NVDA. To the right, we have Google, Apple, and Microsoft. Underneath NVIDIA, we have Amazon. To the right, we have TSM, AVGO, and Meta. All right. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me go ahead and set this up right quick. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go, y'all. All right, looking good now. It's looking good. All right. Now we got about 20 seconds before market opens. All right, 10 seconds, y'all. See what we got. Let's go to 1 minute chart. Market open, market open, market open. Let's go. The market is open. February 6, 2026, 6:30 a.m. We are in Cali, in the Bay Area, y'all. Let's get it. Market open. NVIDIA is up over 2% at 175.40. Google is down 0.75% at 328.57. Apple is up 0.75% at 278.28. Microsoft is up 0.5% at 395.85. Y'all, can you believe Microsoft is under 400? Goodness gracious. Amazon down 9%. Amazon getting clapped, y'all. It's down over $20 at 202. Amazon might be breaking 200 to the downside today, y'all. TSM is up almost 2%. It's back in the consolidation zone, and it's at 337.19. AVGO is up almost 3% at 319.50. Meta is down 0.5% at 667.85. Tesla is up almost 0.75% at 400. BRK.B is up almost 0.5% at 506. And Walmart is up 0.5% at 127.90. All right, let's check out some news. Microsoft has been downgraded by Stifel to a hold from a buy. And it also cut its price target to a Wall Street low of 392, down from 540. That is huge. That is a huge price target cut. Wow. That's probably why it's been sliding so much over these past few days. Okay. Next. We're going to get back to that later. Oh, let's check out Bitcoin. Because that thing been dropping so crazy. We definitely got to check that out. Bitcoin, y'all. So Bitcoin actually hit a low. Bitcoin hit a low of $60,001. Bitcoin, so it actually got cut in half because the high was like 124,000. So Bitcoin actually got chopped in half from the all-time high. It went down to 60,000 yesterday. It's currently trading at 67,672. Let's check out gold. Gold is currently trading at 4,929. It's up 3%. The gold minis is up 2.5% at $97.56. Silver is up almost 3% at $68.56. The copper miners ETF is up almost 4% at $84.50. Ethereum is up almost 8.5% at 1,979. BMNR is up almost 10% at 1913, y'all. Wow. That is incredible. Incredible, y'all. That Bitcoin fall. Goodness. All right. Next piece of news comes from Goldman Sachs is tapping Anthropic's AI model to automate accounting compliance roles. Embedding Anthropic engineers have spent 6 months at Goldman building autonomous systems for time incentive high volume back office work. So yeah, Anthropic is about to allow Goldman to replace a lot of their workers with AI. It's coming soon, y'all. They've been building it for 6 months. Okay. This is from Bar Chart. It says, if Bitcoin were to get a 70% correction, which is less than all the previous cycles, Bitcoin would plunge all the way down to 38,000. So you know Bitcoin has those cycles, those 4-year cycles. So if it does get that 70% correction, it'll be under 40,000, y'all. That's a long way to go. That's a long way to go, y'all. All right, this next piece of news comes from Walter Bloomberg. China resumes rare earth exports to Japan. China has authorized the export of several rare earth minerals to Japan after tightening controls in January, according to trade sources. While not a full embargo, the move appears aimed at maintaining supply stability and discouraging Japan, the U.S., and Europe from reducing dependence on Chinese rare earths. The easing comes despite ongoing customs delays in bilateral trade and follows stricter export controls announced today, covering rare earth, rare metals, and electronics. Yeah, Amazon got clapped, y'all. Amazon got clapped heavy after earnings, talking about $200 billion in capex for this year, y'all. Can you believe they said that? Let me tell you what happened. Goldman Sachs cut Amazon price target to 280 from 300. Citi cut the price target to 265 from 320. UBS cut the price target from 301 to 301 from 311. And Evercore ISI cut Amazon price target to 285 from 335. DA Davidson downgrades to neutral from buy. They have a price target of 175. Fubon downgrades to hold from a buy, price target 240. And BMNO Capital raises the price target to 310 from 304. Next, Tesla opens an AI training hub in China, focused on local driving conditions and assisted driving systems, according to Chinese media. The facility, confirmed by Tesla VP Tao Lin, will develop AI models tailored specifically for the Chinese market. Next, SpaceX will power the AI future. Elon Musk says AI's biggest limits isn't chips, it's energy. Data centers are already struggling to get enough power, and he believes space is the only place where AI can scale without hitting land, grid, or regulatory limits. In orbit, solar panels get consistent sunlight and avoid weather and night cycles, making space-based energy cheaper over time. With reusable rockets, SpaceX could deploy massive solar-powered platforms that host AI compute directly in space. Musk says this shift is inevitable as AI's energy needs grow exponentially, making SpaceX the backbone of a future AI energy economy, y'all. All right, let's check out some of the sectors. Let's see how the sectors are doing today. After a horrible week, technology is up 2.5% at 139.21. XLY is down 1.25% at 116. XLC is barely under break even at 116.18. XLF is up. It did touch the gap, but it did reject the gap. Well, it filled it halfway and then rejected. That's the gap to the upside. It's up over 1.25% at $54. XLV is up over 1% at 156.54. XLP is up 0.75% at 87.57. XLE is up almost 1% at 52.71. XLU is up 1.5% at 43.77. XLI is up 1.5% at 171. XLB is up over 1% at 51.10. And XLRE is up 1.25% at 41.75. Okay, so far, technology is in the lead, over 2.5% right now. And consumer discretionary is the laggard, down over 1%. All right. Let's check out Benjamin Crump, y'all. He's talking about YouTube and Google.
We filed a formal complaint with the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, on behalf of victims of this malicious defamation of character. We filed this formal complaint against these foreign perpetrators from India, Pakistan, and Russia who generate AI social media platforms that impersonate black media platforms and spread misinformation, and they have built an entire misinformation economy that has become a multi-million-dollar industry, and that it is allowed to survive and proliferate because you have media giants like YouTube and Google who help facilitate this misinformation even after it has been proven patently false, especially in the case with Kenny Lattimore and Judge Faith and others. And so I want to just be very clear.
So they have these people are creating these bots. people from Pakistan, India, Russia, they're creating bots and they're putting black people's pictures on there. So they're impersonating black people and they're spreading misinformation. So they're spreading lies and they're trying to get people in their feelings, getting people emotional by just saying triggering statements. That's why you can't even believe these pictures of people. If they just saying some wild shit, it could be, most likely it's not even a black person on there. So just keep that in mind, y'all. All right, next. Today is Bob Marley's birthday, y'all. Shout out Bob Marley. He was born in 1945. The biggest reggae artist in history, y'all. The icon. Play one of Bob Marley's songs today for his birthday, y'all. All right, next. Let's check out Wallow. We need some motivation. Wallow, what you got for us? He said, Wallow267 said, you do not need more time. You need fewer distractions. Ooh. You do not need more time. You need fewer distractions. That's right, Wallow. For sure. All right. Next. This is Dan Ives talking about Tesla and SpaceX. Dan Ives believes that Elon Musk builds a fully integrated ecosystem. Tesla and SpaceX will ultimately merge. XAI technology is increasingly flowing into SpaceX, including Starlink, space-based data centers, energy demand, and more. The combination of SpaceX and XAI has the potential to go public this year and could be a massive new AI and space company. Cross-pollination between Tesla, SpaceX, and XAI is expected to accelerate even further over the coming years. Autonomous driving and Optimus robots alone could increase Tesla's free cash flow by 56x within the next 4 to 5 years. The long-term vision, if all elements are fully combined, Tesla could become one of the world's largest cash flow generating companies, y'all. So you know what that's going to do to Tesla's share price, y'all. If they combine with SpaceX and XAI. All right, let's talk about some of the big tech CapEx spending that's going to happen this year, y'all. I'm going to start from the bottom, the lowest out of the big tech. Apple, CapEx spending $13 billion, which is 2% more than it was from last year, year over year. Tesla, $20 billion, which is 135% year over year increase. Microsoft, $117 billion, which is a 41% increase year over year. Meta, $125 billion, which is 73% year over year increase. Google, $180 billion, which is a 97% increase year over year. And the king of CapEx for 2026 is going to be Amazon. $200 billion, y'all. Over a 60% increase year over year. All right, let's check out the heat map, y'all. Look at the heat map. The heat map got a lot of green today. That thing was bloody yesterday. Goodness. That thing was so bloody, but it looks very green today. Looks like after a week of selling off, at least 4 days of monster sell-off, this may just be a dead cat bounce, though, because we've been selling off so much. But it's very green today. Hardly any red in there on the heat map. So that's good. All right, let's check out some of our other tickers that we like to look at on the show. Let's see. SPX. SPX is back. It did turn negative yesterday on the year. On the year, it had turned negative because I have the opening price was 6,854. So it did go down to yesterday. It went down to 6,728, but it's currently trading at 6,873. SPY is still negative, barely though, by less than $1, less than 20 cents. SPY is about to turn back positive on the year. Let's see. Let's give it 10 seconds to see if it turns positive. It's about 10 cents away. So SPY, yes, turned negative yesterday. Oh, maybe not. It should, if it continues to the upside. It got very close. Alright, next. NAS 100 is still negative on the year because of this tremendous pullback in February. Currently trading at 24,845. QQQ is up 1.25% today at 604.68. The Dow Jones very close to all-time highs at 49,558. The Dow Jones ETF is up 1.25% at 495.47. The VIX is dropping. The VIX went crazy yesterday, y'all. The VIX hit 23 yesterday, y'all. 23.10. But it since fell. It's currently at $19, y'all. The 10-year Treasury note has been dropping, y'all. It's now at 421. Gold is up over 3% at $4,942 an ounce. The gold mini is up almost 3% at $97.80. Silver is up over 3% at $69.10. The copper miners ETF is up almost 4% at $84.40. Bitcoin is up. It's at 68,222. IBIT is up over 7% at 38.74, y'all. Ethereum is trying to get back to 2,000. Ethereum is at 1,985. BMNR is up over 10% at 1926. AMD is up. AMD. So it was in a gap yesterday. In the aftermarket, it found some support in the middle of the gap. And now it is breaking out of the gap, y'all. AMD is up over 6% today at 205.47. Palantir, seeing some green today, is up almost 4% at 135.08. And Robinhood is up 12%. Y'all, Robinhood is up 12% to 81.73, y'all. All right, let's check out this next piece of news. Comes from OpenAI. If you're watching on YouTube Live, then you will see that this image here. So OpenAI is working with Ginkgo to connect GPT-5 to an autonomous lab so it could propose experiments, run them at scale, learn from the results, and decide what to do next, y'all. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope, man. ChatGPT is running the lab. They're gonna run them experiments 24/7. Get a lot of data out of that. Let's go, OpenAI. You need to bounce back after you done messed up the market, talking that stuff to Brad Gershner. Ever since then, we've been doubting OpenAI because he had a real question. Okay, next piece of news. Amazon brought in more revenue than Walmart in 2025. Amazon now, as far as revenue, is the number one company in the world, y'all. Walmart's revenue in 2025 was $681 billion. Amazon's revenue was $716 billion. So Amazon takes the crown for the most revenue in the world, even though it's down today. Okay. All right. This next piece of news comes from the House of Representatives. Ro Khanna had this to say to Congress, y'all. Check it out.
Mr. Speaker, Thomas Massie and my Epstein Transparency Act led to millions of files being released that have shocked the conscience of the nation. Today, I call for Congress to hold in front of the Oversight Committee every single person who emailed about going to Epstein's Island. They need to answer some basic questions. Who raped these underage girls from working class families? What did they see? What did they know? What did they participate in? The American people are frustrated with the rich and powerful getting a different set of justice. There cannot be two tiers of justice in America, and I will not rest until the people who committed these heinous crimes and this heinous behavior are held accountable.
Let's go. Talk about it. He said that on the floor, too. Shout out to Representative Ro Khanna, y'all. Throw them all in jail. Throw them all in jail, y'all. All right, next. This is from Reuters. A U.S. jury ordered Uber to pay $8.5 million after finding it liable in a lawsuit brought by a woman who said she was sexually assaulted by a driver when she was 19. A verdict that could influence thousands of similar cases against the ride-hailing company. Oh, they paying out now. They paying out now. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot more cases coming. They paying out now. $8.5 million. Ooh. Uber is liable. All right. This next piece of news. EU Commission finds TikTok in breach of the Digital Services Act over its addictive design. ByteDance's own app could face a fine of up to 6% of global revenue if it doesn't fix addictive properties like infinite scroll, autoplay, and reminder systems and recommendation systems. Wow. Addictive design. Y'all, they about to get fined for that. But if they're making more bread, then they ain't even tripping on that. All right, his next piece of news comes from Vlad Tenev, Robinhood CEO. He said, compounding applies to learning too. Small improvements add up fast. AI shrinks the loop from idea to test to lesson. More reps per week changes everything. The edge is evaluation. Run more run more experiments, pick better, and repeat. Okay, I thought this clip was interesting. Terrence Crawford, one of the greatest champions in the world in the sport of boxing, retired undefeated. He went on this podcast, one of them sports podcasts, and this is what he had to say.
My thought is everything has a price.
It was called The Pivot. The podcast is called The Pivot. And he's talking to Channing. Here we go.
My thought is everything has a price. There is not a number that can get you back in that ring. 80 million, 100 million.
Nah, because now you selling your soul.
$100 million, you can have my soul.
That's you. Now we know your character. Sometimes, you look at people and you be like, dang, man, you ain't got no dignity. You ain't got no morals. Like, come on, man. Like, what you gonna stand for if everything is about money?
Ooh. I don't think he expected Crawford to respond like that when he said, for $100 million, you can have my soul. But he got cooked on that, y'all. He got cooked on that. Do you have a number? Do you have a number to sell your soul, y'all? He said for $100 million, he'll sell his soul. Very interesting question. All right. Next, BlackRock CEO. Here it is.
It's not about if our market's going up or down. Is there a bubble in crypto or is there a bubble in technology? It's about being in the market throughout the cycle.
Markets rise, markets fall. It's part of the market cycle, y'all.
It's not about...
We've been through it, though. Remember 2022? The market was down the whole year. So this is only 1 month. We expected this. This is February. February is one of the worst months in the market. We expected it. And it just hurts. It hurts to look at your account down like this. I'm down crazy. Because I'm big tech. I'm a big tech bull, Big Mac 7 investor, most of them. And my account been getting clapped all month, y'all. So it's part of the game for February. So we just got to take it. And hopefully we'll get a nice recovery like we did last year, y'all. That taco recovery. All right. Elon was interviewed. This is what he had to say.
I think wasted forward are not good things to have, I was actually pretty worried about, I guess, I think in the absence of AI and robotics, we're actually totally screwed because the national debt is piling up like crazy. Now, our interest payments, the national debt exceed the military budget, which is $1 trillion. So we have over $1 trillion just in interest payments. That was I was okay, pretty concerned about that. Maybe if I spend some time, we can slow down the bankruptcy of the United States and give us enough time for the AI and robots to, help solve the national debt. Or not help solve. It's the only thing that could solve the national debt. We are 1,000% going to go bankrupt as a country and fail as a country without AI and robots. Nothing else will solve the national debt. So we'd like to. Well, we just need we need enough time to build the AI and robots and not go bankrupt before then.
Interesting. AI robots is the only way we're not going bankrupt in America, y'all, according to Elon. Think that's true? Or is he just trying to sell a lot of robots? I don't know. We are definitely in a lot of debt in America. All right. This last piece comes from Wallow. He said, discipline is choosing the future you want over the comfort you crave. Ooh, shout out Wallow. All right, let me run these numbers, y'all. Let me run these numbers. $1 trillion tickers. Where we at? NVIDIA's up almost 5%, y'all. It's back to 180. Google is down almost 3% at 322.17. Apple is up almost 1.5% at 279. Microsoft is up 0.5% at 395. Amazon is down 9% at 202.51. TSM is up over 4% at 344.95. TSM is strong right now, y'all. Very close to all-time highs. AVGO is up over 4% at 323.25. Meta is down again. Meta is underneath the opening price from this year, y'all. Meta is down 3% at $650. Tesla is up over 2.5% at 407.50. BRK.B is up over 1% at 509.25. And Walmart is up over 1.25% at 128.62, y'all. All right. What a week it has been. Let's check out the daily chart so we can see the week. Look what happened. NVIDIA. So it broke underneath our daily support diagonal trend line. And it came down to our weekly level. First, it closed underneath the weekly level, then one more day to the downside, and now it has recovered and is heading back up, y'all. Wow, what a tough week, y'all. What a tough week. Google's trying to get back over the support trend line to the upside, but it's still under. Apple is still looking very strong. Apple want to get back to all-time highs. Apple is back over 280, y'all. The all-time high is 288. So I think Apple is doing the best out of all the Mag 7s this week, this month. Microsoft still has not recovered from this earnings fall. Continues to fall. Amazon gap down tremendously. Let me go ahead and put this gap on the chart, y'all. Damn. Amazon on super discount right now. You know, February bring the discounts, y'all. Amazon 21% off. You want one of the most valuable companies in the world? Do you want to buy the company with the highest revenue in the world? You can buy Amazon for 21% off right now. TSM is back in a consolidation zone, but it's in the upper half now, and it's headed back towards all-time highs. AVGO, it did break out of this. It did break under the diagonal support trend line for a couple days. It ended up finding support on our weekly level here at 306 and also around 300, and now it's back a little bit above the trend line. Meta cannot find any footing after that great earnings. It has done nothing but fall, and now it's underneath where it was before it even popped on earnings. Tesla broke support. So we go ahead and delete that. We'll draw some more this weekend, y'all. Yeah, we got a lot of charting to do this weekend with this terrible week in the market. We got a lot of charting to do. All right, Berkshire. When tech was falling, Berkshire was running. Berkshire, nice recovery. It had went all the way down to 472, and now it's 508. So nice recovery on Berkshire. And Walmart just hit all-time highs this week, so Walmart is doing great. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in to the show, Trading Dollar Tickers. I'm your host, Matt Riches. You know how we like to end the show.
It don't happen overnight, and there's going.
Come on, man.
It don't happen overnight, and there's gonna be moments when it's really, really frustrating, and it's gonna be moments when it's really, really inspiring and empowering. And if you get too high off the highs and too low off the lows, you're gonna take yourself on a ride that's very uncomfortable. I think it's just about being committed to the work and appreciating it, when it's good, and not stressing too bad when it's bad. Just appreciating the work and staying focused on showing up every day.
Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. See y'all tomorrow. We will be charting live in the morning.